Something I will never understand about MMA fighters is they are in a sport where it is so easy to be so likable, and then you hear things like this. Patchy Mix releasing a statement that just doesn't make him look good. Julianna Pena did the same thing, and we're also going to be taking a look at Gachi, who is perhaps the most entitled of all of them. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's start off with what Patchy Mix had to say, okay? Patchy Mix, after his loss to Mario Batista, after all of the crap that he talked, after not being able to live up to the performance that he actually said that he would be delivering, this is what he said. I took the fight on 3 weeks notice against a guy who's on an 8-fight win streak in the UFC. I don't hang my head. Most of you men think you could give an honest assessment, could never relate. Of course, a lot of us in this sport, and while we don't compete at the highest level, a lot of us watching this sport do participate in MMA. A lot of people watching this sport know, and honestly, you don't even have to participate in MMA. If you watch it long enough, you can give assessments like, okay, Patchy Mix, he didn't move his head. Patchy Mix, why were his legs like that? He refused to move them, and I'm shocked that he didn't get leg kicked more. I ended up actually responding to this one and said this, and this encapsulates my entire opinion. Prior to the fight, he was saying the short notice fight didn't matter because he's always training and always ready for a fight. And yes, we can get an honest assessment. It's not difficult to see how stiff he was and how he never moved his head. That's entirely true, and he has said that, and I watched that pre-fight press conference. Patchy Mix was talking about how he lives the training life. Short notice doesn't matter, and it's fine. I get it if you want to hype yourself up. I get that if you want to start, like, you know, just going to the press conference, saying that he's going to walk through Mario Batista, walk into a title fight. If he wins, that's fine. But when you come out and say things like this, oh, I took a short notice fight after yapping about how the short notice fight didn't matter, it's not a good look. I don't understand how these fighters, and again, like I said at the beginning of the video, we're in a sport where it is so easy for these guys to be likable. It's so easy to get a ton of fans. But they just make themselves look so bad. And they just insult the fans. Look what Bo Nickal's been doing. It's fine to give criticism. Instead of actually taking that, okay, well, like, you know what? I didn't move my head enough. Everybody's saying that. The guy didn't move his head. He looked stiff and he was trying to be like too cool in there. We all noticed that. Whether you participate in MMA or not. But instead of actually correcting that and moving forward and participating better in the next fights and saying like, hey, it wasn't my night. Mario did great. Mario's a great fighter, which is true. I didn't expect Patchy Mix to win this fight. Mario Batista, he's a great fighter. Why are these fighters just allergic to saying something like that? It makes them infinitely more likable, even if you don't believe it. No matter how hard it is, just be a little bit graceful in your losses. And I forgot to mention that I wanted to take a look at a couple other replies to this instead of just myself to get a gauge on how the internet feels about this, okay? Most of us probably wouldn't have been talking all that crap like we're going to sub them in 30 seconds in it too. It's fine to talk all that crap, but when you lose, you need to be a little bit graceful. You need to eat that humble pie a little bit. Never seen a fighter try to set fire to their fan base in such an impressive fashion. I think Bo Nickal took care of that pretty good. I think he did a better job in doing that, but I don't know. We've seen so many examples of this type of stuff too, but the fighters, their ego just doesn't allow them to like go down that route at all. And I get what he was saying, like he's not going to hang his head low. That's fine. Just come back better, but you don't have to continue on with the way that you did, okay? Horseplayer had this to say, we can give an honest assessment. You were a punching bag and looked worse than most Contender Series guys. Unfortunately, that is kind of the case. I wouldn't mention like, okay, he looked worse than Contender Series guys because he took on Mario Batista and he lasted for 3 rounds. Mario Batista is a top 10 level fighter in the toughest division in combat sports history, okay? Dill had this to say about it. This mindset doesn't usually serve people well. Making excuses and then saying you could never do what I do. After seeing this, I don't expect Patchy Mix to come in as like a renewed version of Patchy Mix. I expect him to show up being that same kind of guy. If he fights somebody to the level of Mario Batista again, he's probably going to get pieced up again. Unless the guy has like no grappling. It's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. But it doesn't stop there because like I said, we're going to be taking a look at Julianna Pena. We're going to be taking a look at Gachi. And while I'm kind of like, it's weird because I like Patchy Mix, I like Gachi, but I don't like what they're doing right now. And it makes it difficult to like, you know, cheer. It makes it difficult to cheer for them. I would love to see a Bellator success story into the UFC. Julianna Pena, I don't really feel that way because Julianna ends up making a lot of noise and we kind of know what she's doing. So Julianna Pena has called dibs on the winner of Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes despite losing her title at UFC 316. This is what she had to say. Thank you to the fans who lifted me with your love and encouragement during this fight camp. I love you all and feel so grateful for all the support and the energy that you guys give me. It truly means the world. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get the job done. I'm super disappointed, but hats off to Kayla for her win. Hey, you know what? Maybe Patchy Mix should take some notes there. Time to get healed up and get ready for her next fight because I'm calling dibs on the winner. That's fine. Like, I don't look down on Julianna Pena for doing that. And honestly, the division kind of sucks to a point where it wouldn't shock me if that happened. But Julianna does not deserve a title fight. It's fine to say I call dibs. I would be pushing back on Julianna Pena if she said something along the lines of like what we're going to hear from Justin Gaethje, where it's like, I'm not fighting until the UFC gives me a title fight. Like, who are you? Who are you to say something like that? Call dibs on the winner. That's fine. I don't look down on this, but let's be honest with you. Julianna Pena does not deserve a title fight at all. She didn't even deserve the first title fight she had, and she did not deserve to get the belt that she had to defend because that was a robbery. Game Rolling Dad had this to say about it. I'm a Pena fan, and no. Matter of fact, I heard the UFC started a BJJ league. Head over there, take Misha with you, and have some fun. Yeah, actually, that's something that, I mean, she's not the best jiu-jitsu practitioner in the UFC, but I think that Julianna Pena would thrive over there. Julianna Pena is the only person aside, well, Amanda Nunes talks with her fist, but Julianna Pena, and this is why I've always appreciated her, man, because she's the only person in that division that does her best to actually create some steam throughout the division. The only reason that I was excited for Kayla Harrison and Julianna Pena is because of Julianna Pena. I don't really care about Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. I'm interested to see like how Amanda Nunes will come back. She's 37 years old, things like that, but there is no other contender in the division besides like Norma Dumont, and there's only one reason, like let's be completely honest, there's only one reason why fans care about Norma Dumont. At least Julianna Pena tries, and that's why I end up appreciating that. So she calls dibs on the winner. If she got dibs on the winner, I'd be good with that. Tommy said call dibs on retirement. Yeah. Everybody's kind of holding this like attitude towards Pena. Understandably so. A lot of people are annoyed with her. Pena fluke beating Nunes was the worst thing to ever happen to women's MMA. I still can't believe that happened, dude. It was crazy. And I was kind of hoping that we would see the same fluke come about with the Kayla Harrison fight, but can't happen once. Best we can do is Aylin Borges in the UFC Apex, pal. I can actually see them making that matchup, and it's a winnable fight for Julianna. It's a winnable fight. I actually, to be honest with you, I don't mind that fight at all. What's crazy is that division is so dead that it's possible. That's what I was saying. There is literally no noise in the 135-pound division besides right now, and that's only because the only fighter that was making noise outside of Julianna is actually coming back. But to kind of sum it up, guys, I don't really care that Julianna Pena called dibs. It's not a big deal. I don't look at that as entitlement. I look at that as just like her trying to keep her name in the mix, which she's done a good job doing so. But let's get to the worst one, okay? Justin Gaethje. After Patchy Mix, Julianna Pena said what they had to say. Justin Gaethje's manager says he might retire if he doesn't fight the winner of Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira next. Justin said, if I don't fight for the title, I'm just going to hang up my gloves. I feel disrespected. I love being a UFC fighter. I love the UFC, but I feel the UFC has to love me back. Dude, I can't believe the entitlement. That's a funny way of saying, hey, thank you for the millions of dollars and the millions of dollars in bonuses that I've had over the years. I can't believe that he said, and assuming this is true from the manager, I can't believe that I feel disrespected even came out of his mouth. The guy is completely set for life because of the UFC. He does not deserve a title fight. What did he do? He got flatlined by Max Holloway after having 2 prior title opportunities, losing both of them. You lose to Max Holloway, beat Rafael Fiziev in a short notice fight, and a guy that you've already beat, and a guy that is not in the top 5. Why should you deserve a title fight? This is what I hate. Like, Justin Gaethje, he's a cool guy, and I love watching him. He's one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. But when they start doing things like this, it really makes me just flat out dislike them. And again, you are in a sport where it is so easy to get fans. Justin Gaethje's fight style, it's awesome. I get excited every time that he's around. This is so unlikable. Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria, they're going to fight. You deserve none of that. Absolutely none of that. I hate when the fighters, they sit down and they start going like, yeah, the UFC is going to give me a title shot. Like, who are you? You don't deserve anything. You've had to, and you could argue that Justin Gaethje didn't deserve his other title fights. I get that he's exciting, but you can't win one fight against a guy outside the top 5. Just sit down and call it a day. That's crazy. Dude, I'm not even kidding with you right now. I would be insulted if I was the UFC and I heard that come out of Justin Gaethje's mouth. I can't believe that he said that. There is not even any way that you could point to him like, okay, maybe he should get a title fight because of this reason. If like this fight falls out, no, not at all. Win one more fight and then maybe you can be in the conversation. Honestly, I'm tired of the contenders, and I know a couple other people have been uploading videos talking about this, but I'm tired of the contenders feeling so entitled. They're disrespecting the UFC and the opportunity that they've been given. Justin Gaethje is completely set for life because of what the UFC's done for him, and he has the audacity to say, I feel disrespected and the UFC doesn't love me back. They need to start booting fighters out of the rankings for sitting down and being like, no, I'm not fighting unless it's who I want to fight, and I'm not fighting unless it's a title fight. You're not the boss. You don't get to dictate anything. These guys don't fight. They sit down and they wait for an undeserved title shot. No, cut them, give them a pay cut, make them bounce down in the rankings. I don't care. Give other people the opportunities that are actually being active and proving that they're best in the world. Look what Petr Yan is doing right now. Petr Yan does deserve a title shot. He's the #1 contender, and he's taking on what? Number 13? Marcus McGee? Something like that? He's sitting down, he's actually proving that he's the best in the world. He wants to get another paycheck, and he's saying, hey, after I win this fight, there is no denying me a title shot. That makes sense. The guy's on a win streak, and he's putting everything on the line to take on the toughest guys in the world. Justin Gaethje's not doing that. It's crazy to me that fighters feel this way, man. The Combat Sports Matrixer had this to say about it. I'm a fan of Gaethje, but he doesn't deserve a title shot. He recently lost to Max in brutal fashion and beat an inactive Fiziev who he already beat before. Gaethje needs a big win in order to get a title shot. Armin will probably be next for the title. He needs to fight Armin or Hooker. Okay, something that I'd be okay with Justin Gaethje doing is if he did beat the #1 contender, fight Armin. There is no reason why he should not be fighting somebody like Armin Tsarukyan or at the very least, Dan Hooker right now. There's no reason for that. You want the title shot? Beat the #1 contender because you don't deserve to just bounce in front of that guy. It's straight up entitlement. Huge Ass had this to say. This dude's gotten so many opportunities from the UFC, it's crazy to say they don't love me back. Exactly. I can't believe he said that. That's crazy, okay? CH Parody had this to say, okay, then retire. Nobody will care, man. Just got one win after he got flatlined by Max. I mean, I'd like to see more fights from Justin Gaethje, but something I forgot to mention too is what's the key word there? Justin Gaethje might retire. He might be trying to pull a little Henry Cejudo move over here, okay? Kenyatta had this to say, this is just bad strategy and poor branding. Instead of this, Justin should call out Patty, use that fight to raise his stock, and remind people of him being one of the most dangerous fighters against the guy who has had the spotlight on him. Win that, and the fans will be demanding for Justin to fight whoever has the title. But playing this, it's not fair game doesn't work. The fans don't appreciate it. It makes you look passive. It doesn't make you look like a prize fighter. It allows for guys who do understand the game to be spotlighted over you, even if you may deserve the opportunity. Stories and narratives matter in prize fighting, especially when there is a division full of guys who can make a logical argument of deserving something. I thought that was very well said for the most part. I don't know what to say. It's just an insane thing to believe. Like, we were looking at Patchy Mix, Julianna Pena. At least, like, Patchy might be all up in his emotions right now, but no, Justin Gaethje is just sitting down, legitimately just waiting to be handed an undeserved title shot. Nav had this to say, Justin is great entertainment, but does not deserve a title shot. The yes men surrounding him are slowly turning him into a spoiled brat, though. He just got wrecked by Max, then he scrapes a win against someone he already beat, all while that guy was coming on 1 week's notice, and off of an insane injury. I'm almost sure that he had surgery, too. But yeah, it's just the state of fighters right now. How could you get flatlined? Like, completely embarrassed for 5 rounds, knocked out cold, barely win your next fight, after a guy comes back, isn't in the top of the division, by the way, and go, yeah, the UFC doesn't love me if they give me a title fight. I can't believe it. BJ had this to say, manager could have put such a better spin on this. Could have just said, the only itch Justin has to scratch is for a title. Doesn't want to fight if it's not a title fight. He's been in the game for a while. He's taking damage. He's made money. That's all that's left for him. Who could argue that? And we wouldn't even be talking about that. We'd be like, yeah, you know what? That makes sense. A lot of people just want to fight for the title. Yeah, I get that. Right? That's actually a really good way to put it. The manager kind of, I mean, I don't want to say the manager did him dirty, but they were Justin Gaethje's words, but that is what should have come out of it. Maybe some of these managers need some AI rephrasing, okay? If you want to continue talking about MMA, check out this video on screen right here where we take a look at everything trending in the world of MMA. I'd love to have you guys over there. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.